Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin our sharing today. Now, when we actually challenge ourselves for this particular topic about the personal tax filing, we also was actually thinking, what are we going to talk to you about in this 1.5 hours when all the relief, everything is actually something that you probably will know and is actually made available anytime and everywhere. You know, you can just do a quick Google search, you'll be able to pick up some information. So as a result of it, we wanted to give a tweak to it, right? Now, I would like to actually start by having this 3 learning point. Number 1 is, let's go down to who really do need to actually do this particular things called tax filing, and in what circumstances a tax filing can be terminated or stopped, yeah, halfway because your income may have come to zero, etc., etc. Number 2, and of course, how do you actually file the correct taxes, and what are the relief, and why sometimes as a simple personal tax you still actually get queried by inner revenue challenging on some of your relief documents, right? And thirdly, on the importance of the filing of taxes, we wanted to actually use the experience of what other governments is actually doing to put us ahead in time a little bit about what is actually upcoming when it comes to the government's measures in ensuring the correct tax is actually being paid, and you know, like what are the audit, the potential audit checking on us into the future. I would say near future, very near future. Yeah. So what does the inner revenue put it up so that we need to actually know how important we are to buckle up in our tax compliance today. So ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia, when it comes to the taxes, right, there is a lot has actually been talked about. For those of you that who may have followed even through to our budget announcement seminar last year, etc., you will know that the government actually start creep in something called foreign source income, right? Whereby we are talking about, so long as you are a tax resident in Malaysia, income from all over, it's going to be taxed. So this kind of situations, right? Oh, sorry, Cyrus, shall we do the recording? Oh, it's already started recording?
Yes, it's already started recording.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. I apologize for this particular interruption. Yeah, so we are seeing the government is actually expanding its actually scope, even though that particular foreign source income seems to have been delayed, yeah, for 5 years, but it is there. It is not an abolishment of that particular measures, but it is actually there. So in the past, we like to talk about, we wanted to, Malaysia, you need to actually pay tax on the income that you derive in Tanah Melayu lah. You actually derive in Malaysia. So now, has anything been changed? If we talk about the fundamental words in the section, it has not. It's just been expanded through other schedule and sections, yeah, to cover the whatever that is actually at the borderline. So if I may have bored everybody a little bit over this, you know, like the tax sections, it actually says that income tax shall be charged, yeah, for a year of assessment upon the income of any person accruing in or deriving from Malaysia. So you need to actually derive from Malaysia or accruing in Malaysia or received into Malaysia from overseas. So you can see, as far as the law is concerned, it is actually quite wide to begin with. It's just that there is another Schedule 6 that is trying to say that, okay, in addition to whatever that's coming into Malaysia, received in Malaysia, I have a list of exemptions items to how do you call, scoop you out of this particular section 3 again, right? So, but then the foreign source income is like scooping everything back again. So tax is actually very interesting. It actually scoop in and out, scoop in and out. Why is that so? Because it is so difficult to identify who should pay tax and where are the documents. As the world going into digitalization, this is the challenge all over the world, not just a Malaysian issue. It's actually a worldwide issue. Now, last year we see that the government imposing this thing we call TIN, T-I-N, tax identification number. Now, during the budget's 2022 announcement, yeah, we see that the government announced this and it says that it's going to start implementing this particular year itself, January 1st, 2022. And this is actually trying to broaden the tax base a little bit. Generally, if you already have SGOG number for individual or C number for company, that itself is actually being classified as TIN already. So it's no longer needed another registration for it. Now, TIN is actually required. Nowadays, TIN is also required when if you don't have a SGOG number as an individual, but there is a buy-sell transactions for you, because there is a buy-sales transaction of property or a share of the real property company under the Real Property Gain Tax Act, the TIN number need to be registered. Okay. Likewise, when you need to stamp document, you need to stamp documents and instruments, loan instruments, etc., etc. Now, the TIN number is also required when it's actually involving the transfer of property, shares, as well as transfer of business, right? So this actually came from the Stamp Act. So our real life experience is this. Maybe a businessman, when the son actually turned 18 years old, okay, so they decided to actually reward the kids by, number one, maybe appoint the person as a director of the family run company. Number two, to give a bit of shareholding to the to this young son. Okay, the son at 18 years old may be studying, but it actually will be part of the shareholding of the company. Simple transaction like that. In the past, this is a very straightforward, we just have it top with your IC number there, everything can be done. Okay. Now the Indian revenue, now all this documentation require an affixing of a TIN number. Okay, so meaning the son, even though there is no income yet, because of there is a transactions, a share transactions that is actually going to put under his name or a daughter, her name, he or she is now required to actually register an income tax number, right? So as a result, we see a lot of people start having this income tax number. Or it can be another way around, you know, your grandma, right? Who your grandma has in a property that is already 40 years old. 40 years ago, she bought a property many years ago. She never worked in her life, but she had a property registered under her name. And she felt that she's old already and she wanted to transfer the property to someone else, right? To the children or the grandchildren. So by virtue of a transfer required to take place, the old grandma actually required to register a TIN number as well, right? So this is the exact situation that we are having. Or father who wanted to borrow a bank facility, and bank facility nowadays, it requires somebody who have actually wealth. You need to have proven the ability you can actually repay. And if you are young and rich, it actually makes things a lot simpler. You can actually prolong that particular tenure. But a lot of the time is when you're rich, you're no longer young, or when you're young, you're not rich, right? So a lot of time what people will do with the loan is they will actually, we have a father and a younger generation, which is the son or the daughter, to come together in a joint loan and apply for it, get the facility, lengthen it to whatever 30 years or 20 over 30 years, so that the installment is actually lower, right? Things like that. So by virtue of there is a younger party in the picture, he or she may not actually have income yet, but there is his name or her name is actually required to be in the instrument. Okay, for application or whatever, there is a possibility that a TIN number will require to be registered as well. Okay, so there are very serious series of particular situation whereby you are required to have a TIN number. Yeah. So do you know, ladies and gentlemen, do you know that the following people are required to actually apply for a TIN number in accordance to this particular act called 66 capital A1 of the Income Tax Act? Number one, any person who is a citizen aged 18 years old and above, rightfully in accordance to section 66 capital A1, the person is required to apply for a TIN number, number one. Number two, any person who is accessible or having a chargeable to tax kind of income. Yeah, you are actually receiving some income, and then you are required to pay tax already. Okay, so you're required to register yourself. or you are required under the section 771. So meaning you are doing business, okay? And yes, you must actually have a TIN number, okay? Now, questions, it is your responsibility, the one on top is, it is your responsibility to do that. Questions. If you are a citizen, age 18 and above, but have not registered a TIN due to there's no income, Now, can you actually ignore it? Okay, generally the law didn't actually answer that specifically, but it actually says that the government does actually have the authority as they think fit to still assign an income tax number to you. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, actually you need to pay attention to the small little things here and there, right? So you may be given an income tax number without you realizing, because it came through a mail, or it came through an email, or it came through because you are actually having named in the documents, right? Now, do I have to file a tax return? Yeah, if I have a TIN, I don't have an income. My dad just used my name, right? Do I actually have to do it? Now, test number one. Question is, do you have a chargeable income to begin with? What is a chargeable income? In the law, there are 6 classes of income. 6 classes of income consists of, hold on, let me just close this. Okay, 6 classes of income consists of business income, employment income, dividend, etc. The most important part is item number F, other gains, any gains that is not fall under any of the above, but then it is still a money that you receive, which is an income to you, is actually classified under 4F. This is like the dan line. So if you can't identify anything on the above, dan line is going to capture the rest, right? So in Malaysia, the only thing basically that is not really taxed on you is a capital gain at the moment. Is actually capital gain. Other than that, there is potentially be a non-capital related gain that fall under the gain that you are seeing right here. Yeah, gain that you are seeing right here. Okay, so this para 4F is actually quite powerful. Test number 1 is this particular. Number 2 is, if you do not actually have a chargeable income in that year of assessment, do you have chargeable income in the past, right? Some people say, I don't have the income today. Yes, I used to have income, but I'm no longer working. I am an housewife now, or I retire now. I'm no longer working, right? But I still have my SGOG number. I still have my TIN number, right? Do I still need to fill in the form, right? So basically, in the past, the inner revenue will give a black and white letter for it, but now we no longer see it. If the answer is yes to number 2, meaning you don't you don't actually have an income now, but you actually have the income in the past, right? In the immediate preceding year, you still need to file one more year of assessment or tax return form with a 0 income to inner revenue before you stop submission to inner revenue. Will inner revenue give you an official letter and say, thank you, Mr. Tan, you do not require to submit in a tax return form? They will not issue it to you. So we are in a self-assessment basis. So it is your decision to stop with your proof to say that you have stopped correctly. Okay. So however, based on our experience, ladies and gentlemen, based on our experience, you need to file more than 1 time. You need to file at least 2 times of 0 income approach before you can make a decision to stop your submission, right? Otherwise, we actually still have a lot of administrative things that the inner revenue asks for the form, and together with the penalty, etc., etc. Now, even though our experience is filing 2 years, we have a recent case, very recent, whereby the inner revenue actually came after our taxpayer, our past taxpayer, I would say, who has not been filing tax return form for 10 years. They actually comply with this so-called like 1 to 2 year submission of 0 income before they stop filing. But the inner revenue still raise an assessment on them, right? So now, what if that situation happened? We in our office right now, we are still dealing with the case to actually appeal to the Inland Revenue to tell them that this particular taxpayer actually do not require to submit because there is no income. So what is the situation is the Inland Revenue say they had previously raised a provisional tax on the taxpayer is an individual. They have previously raised an provisional tax to the taxpayer, and then for that they are actually wanted to claim that particular tax and wanted to actually see the tax return form to be actually submitted. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you file a zero income, the Inland Revenue issue you a Borang J, to say that, oh, you know, you actually have an income. I raised this actually based on last year. You would then need to file an appeal to the case, and you need to demonstrate and prove to them that you are actually having zero income, and let them actually cancel off that particular Borang J. Otherwise, it will be deemed that it is your income, you know, even though you may have not earning, it's only a provisional. So it is very important that you pay attention to your tax filing all the time. In our office, we always say, you know, like ask for kedudukan cukai or taxpayer. So meaning, please go and check what is your tax status, right? Just in case you have something that you have overlooked, or documents sent to you but you have overlooked from your mailbox, or for some reason postman just didn't put it in your letterbox and it's relating to Inland Revenue document. You honestly have to pay attention to small things like that. Okay, now next. Okay, this is a question that is often asked actually. Will an individual who is 18 years old and undertake a full-time study need to submit an income tax form if a TIN number is actually being given? Inland Revenue, has actually been giving this in the FAQ, all right, published in 2021, which is about 6 months ago. So they attempt to answer this question, but the way that they answer this question is 6:30. If you read the Malay version, you realize it's 6:30 because the answer is no, but it actually comes with like an independent statement to actually say taxpayer who specify under section 77 is then required to actually file. So what is section 77? Section 77 talks about if you are actually in business and earning income, then yes, you need to, you actually need to actually still file, regardless you are 18 years old and full-time studying, you still need to actually submit it. Youngsters nowadays is really having other income without us daddy and mommy knowing, ladies and gentlemen. I have a real life case on this. Recently, I was actually during school holiday, bring kids to the islands, and then one of the mother was actually not really complaining, but she's commenting. She said, "Hey, you know what? You know, my son, my 17-year-old son, this is even under 18. My 17-year-old son asked for a bank account, asked for my bank account. I said, hey, ask for a bank account. That is interesting." I said, yeah, why? Because YouTube wanted to bank in money to my son. And my son is underage, right? So YouTube wanted an adult or a joint account at least for them to actually bank in money, because the teenage son is actually a YouTuber, you know, still in school, secondary school in fact, have a couple of YouTube video that is more than 1 million views. So there are advertisements to be paid. And the mother say, so far, the amount has actually accumulated just under 10,000. Can you imagine that? You know, so question, what if while I undertaking a full-time, I'm also a YouTuber, I'm also a Grab, I also do a little bit of an online buy sell here and there, right? And I'm a KOL, I receive income. Can I hide under the pillow? Right? Can I actually hide under the pillow? It's interesting, isn't it? These particular sections, right, that actually says that the answer is no, but it actually mentioned taxpayer under section 77, which is business. Now, is YouTuber income or KOL income, influencer income, or Grab driver income, or okay, online business, sure business, but is YouTuber all this little income here and there? Is it a business source? Let's look at what Grab has done. Okay, Grab in a form of assisting their driver, they tackle on this tax matter issue. Okay, so in their publications, in Grab Malaysia's, I believe it's website, so they have this thing that they circulate to their Grab driver. So they actually mention to their Grab driver that you can submit your Grab earning for your income, for your tax income tax filing by putting your annual income in the field of Form B, right? Form B. Form B is income from business, right? And then they also put down here, you can actually claim the following expenditure, right? In order, while arriving at your taxable income under Form B. So what does that mean? Grab themselves has assisted all drivers, right, to confirm that they are under a business source, right? Whether the Grab driver is active, very active, or the Grab driver is just doing casually. Casually means what? I know somebody who do this, right? They don't actually do the Grab during the working hours. So they are actually at work. So after work, then they actually picked up anyone's around the office area and go home. And in the morning, they do the same. They wake up, then they turn on. If there's anything to go to the locations towards their office, they'll pick up, they'll do a pickup, then they send, then they go back to work, right? So as far as Grab is concerned, your income does come under a Form B source, a Form B. Form B means income source. So ladies and gentlemen, it is an income source. So if you are having your son or your daughter who's actually doing some of this side job, they may get caught, and TIN number has actually required to be registered. This is a little article 2 years ago, when Inland Revenue worked alongside with this SushiVid platform, which is a platform for influencer. Okay, it was 2 years already, ladies and gentlemen. Inland Revenue worked alongside with this platform to actually goes to the influencer market and industry to tell them and teach them how to actually do their tax filing. Because Inland Revenue says, and it actually came in the publication to actually say that it doesn't matter what you actually do, so long as your income actually reaches certain amount, you must do your tax filing. And in addition, some of the influencer, or should I say the KOL, do things like, for example, they introduce hotel stay, they introduce Airbnb, they introduce tour locations, right? Nowadays, everywhere we go, we will check the review. We go to YouTube and then we look for all these young YouTubers. What do they see? What do they eat? And then we follow their path, and then we do our, how you call, makan trip, whatever it is. I just did one to Kuantan. By doing that exactly, to search this makan in whatever, then you have YouTuber who do that. Honestly, if you follow the path to go and to go to all the makan, is actually quite nice. So this is how we actually do our review already. TripAdvisor, maybe the things in the past, in no time, ladies and gentlemen. YouTubers is actually the one. So some of these YouTubers, they may actually receive some form of sponsors from business owners, right? Whereby they are being paid by staying in the resort or whatever. That may not necessarily in the form of money. It's actually paid in kind. So Inland Revenue actually 2 years ago already informed the platform to actually say that it's actually part and parcel. It's actually part and parcel of the income that you need to actually report. Yeah. So Inland Revenue is in the topic. It's just that sometimes we are not aware that they are already in the topic, right? Now, questions, ladies and gentlemen, question. YouTuber, KOL, Grab drivers, is your income come under the business income source, or it come under a casual income? Some people say, casual only, Agnes, casual, right? Okay, if it's casual below a certain amount, of course, yes, you don't need to actually do your submission, like for example, below the taxable amount. The article say 38, but generally, if during the past many years ago, Inland Revenue did mention 24,000, right? Below 24,000. But if you are an income that is considered within the classes, within the classes of these, you suppose there is no threshold. There's no threshold because even losses, you're supposed to do your reports, right? So what we call a casual income is still found under 4F source. What is a 4F source? What we have mentioned just now, other gains than line. Okay. Now, the only way that we don't need to actually register, I would say, is when you are actually having an exempt income. Yeah, when you actually have an exempt income. Exempt income such as dividend income that fall under Schedule 6, capital gain, and FD interest. Okay, FD interest. And at this point in time, remittance of foreign source income. At this point in time, as we speak, it is only valid for 5 years. In 5 years' time, these things will actually change. Yeah. So FD income, just in case any of you know of foreigners or having a friend who's foreigner, was actually puzzling whether interest income earned by foreigners in Malaysia, when they report their personal income tax, do they need to actually pay tax on it or not? Generally, this particular exemption didn't actually do any segregation on whether you are resident or non-resident. So it's actually exempt income. So it's exempted. Yeah. So it's actually exempted throughout. So ladies and gentlemen, the remittance is the one that whereby in the past, yeah, we talk about whether you are residents or not, income, foreign income coming in by a resident personnel and non-resident personnel is still come under exemption. But this resident individual has actually been posted to a taxable category, yeah, under the budget 2022. It's just that the law has done a postponement. The exemption is a postponed, right, until 31st December 2026. Yeah. Foreign source income is an area that Syarikat Ong wanted to closely monitor. Because how to prove a foreign source is actually important. This is an audit issue. When foreign source income required to pay tax, ladies and gentlemen, we foresee there will be a lot of personal tax audit coming up. Okay, so foreign source income exempted from tax at the moment include all sorts of foreign income received by individual. Inland Revenue says that they will actually provide more detail as time goes. We have not received any for the past 6 months. The last announcement that they made is, I think, 30th December 2021 regarding postponement. Then they have silent on the matter until today. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how different is the Borang B and Borang BE? Okay. Generally, it's simply because of these 5 items on top only. Statutory income for businesses and partnership. Now, a lot of people misunderstood one very important thing. I never go to register or business to register my business, you know. Right? So, I don't have a business. Right? I am actually working closely with my partner, but I never go to ROB, register or business to register a partnership officially, you know. So, hence, I don't have a partnership. The answer is wrong. No? The answer is wrong. As far as tax filing is concerned, it is always substance over form. The substance of a partnership has arise. A tax and income has arise from this partnership arrangement. Okay, so a partnership has arise and a profit and loss account and balance sheet need to be prepared in order to satisfy the tax filing already. Okay, same likewise with business. I receive everything under my personal bank account. I don't register a sole proprietorship for it. It's okay. You have commenced doing business. Okay, so a business has arise. So a filing will still need to be done. Okay, now this is a very important information, ladies and gentlemen. If the income that you receive does not require to incur any expenses, Inland Revenue may categorize your income under 4F as gain and profit. And then, do you know that if you come under here, you will actually be asked to file under Form BE and not Form B. So if you file under Form BE, your deadline of tax submission has already over. Okay, the one that we show on a graph is because they anticipate that you are going to have expenses incurred as a Grab driver and you have deduction. So hence, that particular income will actually come under Form B, and then you're supposed to fill up your form under B1. Okay, what if you are not having it? Someone give you a commission because you are doing a deal. Okay, then you will need to actually file under B3 of your BE form under other gain and profits. And the deadline of submission is actually May 15, last month. It's not next month. Yeah. So this important difference is something that everyone you must take note. The income that you earn, does it require expenses? If it's no, please go to BE form. Report, but go to BE form. If it's yes, you still have, you are under Form B. Okay. You yeah, so this is where a different administrative difference that you must know lah. Okay, now a lot of people say, hey, pandemic is already very tough, you know, I got no business, my business is not happening. Okay, what if my business suffer losses during the year? Why should I still need to spend all this unnecessary time to file all these tax return form and prepare all this? I got no time, right? I wanted to survive. I don't care. Right? What can the Inland Revenue do anything to me? Actually, if you have an income in the past, all right, okay, and then you know, you are still in business but you are making losses, right? What is important is you need to know that losses can actually be carried forward. No? So if during the pandemic you accumulate a 100,000, let's just say 100,000, you accumulate 100,000 of tax losses. Okay, hey, when you make money of 100,000 taxable income, you can offset before you are actually subject to the next level of tax. So don't underestimate the power of accumulating the tax losses moving forward. Don't because, it's loss making lah. I declare that I have no income. I declare I have no income. I put everything zero. I don't want to bother about it. I just put everything 0, 0, 0, 0, as if I stop my business, right? Instead of showing a red situation and allow the losses to be carried forward, right? So ladies and gentlemen, you have to self-help. If the business is actually lost, the government allow you to carry forward the losses, you should take the opportunity. You should take the opportunity. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that part that we talked about is who should be, you know, who needs to actually report taxes and then things like that. Who need to, the team is actually going big and wide at the moment. I was actually joking with one of my colleagues some time back. I said, wow, in the past, in the future, it will be like in a Hollywood movie, you know, the TIN number is like the security number that, you know, the Agent Scully is going to key in, and then everything, the biometric data, everything about you is going to come out. Is it going to happen? Is TIN number is going to be as equivalent important as your IC number? If you ask my personal opinion, the answer is yes, because the TIN number now is tracking all your transfer and all your instruments. Yeah, the law requires the TIN number to be affixed when you do your instrument transfer, when you're stamping your documents, and etc. etc. So they are using TIN number to monitor. So Inland Revenue is having a lot of data to analyze as part of their AI, you know, like tax authority in the future. So personal tax relief now, section 2. In personal tax relief and personal tax and tax deduction is different, ladies and gentlemen. Tax deductions, expenses that I can deduct for tax, and the expense and the relief that I can deduct for tax is two different words. Relief is government give to you. This is the relief that I can claim. I can claim relief, personal relief, 9,000. I can claim wife, dependent wife relief of 3,000. You know, it is a relief, right, given to you. But deductions, you will need to show documentation. You need to show a lot of other things to it. Okay, but of course, the way you actually classify it is also different also. But generally, it is a reduction of the tax. So today, we will not be talking about what are the deductions that we're having. We talk about pure relief. So certain relief still need documentations because there are terms and conditions applied to it. So we just do a snapshot basically or whatever that most people would have already know, would have already know. So I just wanted to pinpoint situations that you may actually found why the Inland Revenue is auditing me and asking for further document. For example, supporting document on supporting equipment, okay, or they don't agree with your claim of 6,000. Hey, my parents need a wheelchair, you know. My parents need a supporting equipment for their life. They need a wheelchair. So I buy a wheelchair for my parents, and then I put it under this claim. But why Inland Revenue is not agreeing for the deductions, right? Now, because there is a condition to it, ladies and gentlemen, in order to actually claim this particular item, the subject person need to register with the Department of Social Welfare actually, right? So if due to old age and not register under the social welfare or not under the OKU, basically it's actually not qualified. So ladies and gentlemen, maybe you should actually look into the registration of your parents who needed some of this equipment support with the Department of Social Welfare, so that the bills that you, I mean the equipment, the supporting equipment that you actually purchase for them can actually claim deduction without having an audit issue, right? Which is this one to take note. Second thing is on this 8,000 ringgit. Okay, 8,000 ringgit. Illness, a lot of people say, hey, I actually serious ma. My illness is very serious. Why the Inland Revenue are still challenging me for it? Why is still challenging me on this, right? Okay, so as far as in the event of an audit, right? In the event on audit, the tricky part is not to yell and be emotional about any argument, right? It's proving the fact, Serious diseases and serious illness, normally we are talking about, or the Inland Revenue, in the Inland Revenue mind, they are actually into illness that need follow-up treatments, need continuous care, right? Then to them, then it is a serious diseases, right? So hence, right, if the diseases having that, you keep documentation for it. And look, I need to go back to the doctor consultations on a continuous and periodical basis. Yeah, I got these medications that I need to follow through, right? So there is a follow-up things that will require, right? So these are important for you to actually keep track of the documentation in case the Inland Revenue challenge this documentation, because it's very gray, like how do I actually cause serious diseases? The government can only tell you contour of diseases. Okay, they are also not able to actually loop the whole thing. I was actually having conversation with my insurance agent. He says, hey, Agnes, nowadays we are not talking about what is that? 36 critical illness. We are talking about more than 100 type of illness already. And I was like, wow, what has medical industry and these like these viruses and illness do to the human mankind of today. We are getting very vulnerable and really open up for all kinds of matters. So now the next thing I want to speak to everyone about is regarding this interesting lifestyle claim, right? The government introduced this lifestyle claim some time ago. It's not new. But last year, during the pandemic, the government introduced this special lifestyle. So you have lifestyle of what we all understand, the reading material, the start from tablet, sports equipment, etc. 2005, we all know. This we have it year in, year out, we all know, okay? 2005, all right? Then during the pandemic, through the stimulus package, the government introduced an additional special lifestyle, 2005. So add together 5,000, right? And then special lifestyle relating to sports equipment was actually independently segregated to 500. So altogether, you look around here, it's 5,500. Looks like you're able to claim very well, right? Yeah, the answer is yeah, why not? If you are buying smartphone, notepad, whatever, you should take advantage of it. Now, if you look into these two slides, you will realize that tablet, for instance, smartphone, for instance, it actually appears at both category, right? Now, if I go and buy an iPhone 13 Pro, right? It is definitely not 2005, right? It is much higher amount than that. Well, I'm not talking about situation whereby you sign your package with the telco. I'm talking about you go and get the phone. So it's actually much higher amount. So what do? I will actually claim my 2005, then I try to claim the balance under 2005. Everybody will actually thought about that, right? Now, do you know the right procedure is that extra, that bill, you're supposed to firstly claim under the 2005 under special lifestyle, and the balance of that exiting 2005 is then claimed under the old 2005. You know, you utilize the old one. You are if you actually how do you call, support your tablet claim under this particular 2005 category, and then you wanted to claim to the special lifestyle, it is not allowed, right? So you need to know which category of that particular bahagian or the form that you are filling in, ladies and gentlemen. If you go through your form, yeah, you will see these three does actually comes with it. I think the next few slides I will have. Maybe I'll jump queue a little bit to that slide. Right? You have to pay attention on how you fill up your forms, you know. Okay. So you have your F8, you have your F9A, and then you have your F9B, ladies and gentlemen. So you need to how do you call, exhaust your F9B first. You actually need to fully claim your F9B. You should. If your bill is over 2005, you should put it here first, and only the balance you claim it under your F8. Ladies and gentlemen, interesting, isn't it? Okay, rules is rules, just like traffic lights. Okay, why we go at green and not go at red? This is how it works. Okay, so take it as it is. When you fill in the form, when you support your documentation, preparing your paperwork, you remember you do it that way. Otherwise, the Inland Revenue will treat it differently. Okay, so take note of this small little administrative approach that the Inland Revenue is particular about. Okay, medical claim is another important things the government did mention. Okay, your COVID-19 detection tests, okay, is also something that you actually claim under your medical claim this time. Okay, including purchase of your self-detector kits, etc., etc. Now, yes, this is something that is important. But however, actually, when they talk about the COVID test, they are actually referring to COVID test that was actually done in clinic, hospital, and the registered doctor, under the registered doctor kind of scenario. Actually, your lab test, meaning if you are doing your COVID test over at, say, BP lab or whatever, they actually do not consider it as a detection test that you actually claim under here, right? Take note of this, very important. Yeah, they are actually looking for a test that you have actually done in clinic, hospitals, and registered doctors center, wellness center or whatever. They don't take into lab-based. Yeah, so take note of this thing. And of course, full medical checkup and etc. is always part of what you can also claim as well. Okay, now there are small print here you can read on your own. Yeah. Now, these are the serious diseases, but these are just part of the examples. These are just part of the examples that we could highlight. It's not conclusive. It's not conclusive. Like I said, the serious disease, and in the event of the audit, if we go for the argument, it will actually have to be serious disease that, of course, if you can see in here, it is. Otherwise, something that requires doctor following up is a very, very important point that you need to anchor on. Okay. Now, other things like, for example, the fertility treatment. This is rather new, starting in the year 2020. In the year 2020, it actually belonging to married individuals. Yeah, and then it actually covers all the other how do you call, including the fertility test to have a baby in the case of the wife or on his husband. Yeah, so these are a good test, I would say. I mean, it's a good claim. It's a good claim. So this is a little summary of what I have mentioned just now. which is an English version, okay? And then you may read on your own accord. But importantly, it's like how I actually explain to everybody how you're supposed to fill in the form on lifestyle. When you're buying a tablet or smartphone or whatever during the years, and you wanted to put out a claims and it's over 2005, maybe about 5,000, your job is to say that you claim in principle under F9B, and then the balance that is exited the 2005 threshold is actually now put to F8 threshold. Okay, so write the numbers correctly. Okay, other things like, for example, educations, etc. I think these are quite straightforward. Yeah, it's nothing new. Year in, year out, we have that. Childcare and kindergarten fee. Always remember, when we come to childcare, we talk about childcare that is actually registered with the MOE. In terms of childcare, we talk about Department of Social Welfare. When it comes to the kindergarten, we talk about registered with the MOE. So only those, the registered ones, then the inner revenue will actually allow the relief to take place. Disabled child, you must have the OKU card. Okay, you must have the OKU card. So medical treatment, medical treatment and special needs and care expenses, etc. Please be informed, ladies and gentlemen, the parental care of 1,500 for each parent is now removed starting from year 2021. It's not there anymore. You cannot actually put it as part of your carer claim here already. No longer, no longer. So as far as this medical treatment is concerned, we talk about medical expenses with supporting document. So if you need to actually buy your medical items from, say, for example, your medication from pharmacy, because you tell the doctor it's too expensive if I have to prescribe it from the hospital, okay, ask the doctor to write a letter to prove that this is the medication that you need, and the doctor did actually instruct that you can actually pick up and buy it through the pharmacy counter or through the hospital. So with that letter and with the pharmacy proof of payments of purchase of the medication, generally we'll be able to allow claims under this category as well. Okay, all right. Now, new things which everyone would have known as well is actually the claim of this tourism relief, this domestic travel relief that is actually effective for 2 years. This is the final year, okay? And take note that entrance fee is actually allowed, and do remember that the premise, the accommodation that you go for is actually registered with the Commissions of Tourism Malaysia. Now, I travel as well. I also do a lot of staycation right now because you can't really travel much overseas at the moment. If you are, they probably still have a different country will still have different kind of restrictions or their measures lah. So I thought, staycation in Malaysia will be nice. Cuti Malaysia. Now, so what do you do? How do you book your air ticket? And ladies and gentlemen, go to booking.com, right? Have everything, register everything, done. Okay. Then you bring your booking.com forms, right? You go to the accommodation, you check in. So as far as you can tell, booking.com documents is sufficient enough. The answer is no. You need to actually ask for the hotel documents, right? It's the hotel, the accommodations documents, right? So nowadays, the hotel will tell you, we are not actually issuing anything because you have made the payment to booking.com. Everything deal with booking.com, right? So ladies and gentlemen, if you wanted to make this claim, through the emails, if you have missed out some of this email of booking.com previously gave you this, premise invoices or proof of payment documents to you, maybe you wanted to find out more, so that you can actually claim your 1,000. Okay, so it is not on the face value that booking.com, okay, I tell you that I have done my journey to Malaysia and I can claim. So documentation, we have to go into detail. Now, we are in an era whereby we're beginning to think that social contribution is actually important, right? So donation is something that I believe a lot of individuals is actually paying. Or some people pay it just because I don't want to pay income tax. So I wanted to donate my money out. Is it correct? Why not? Right? Okay. So long as you go within the rules. Okay. So the Inland Revenue allows. If you are actually going to donate before you tell me what is your net income, can. These are not an issue, but go within my rules and my ambits. Did you realize in your form, you have a lot of small print that you are just going to ignore and 000 because first, you don't have time and no patience to read through. Okay. 2, you wanted to complete your tax submission quick as possible. Right? Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, today, let us go through with you about this category in your personal tax submission form on gift and donation. Okay. Generally, there are a lot of line category of areas of donations that you could actually consider and do a contribution before arriving at your taxable income. Okay, so I split them into 3 parts, may I say that? Okay, 2 or 3 parts, about 2 or 3 parts. Okay, part number 1 is donation that you can make, but with restriction and cap. Okay, the first box that you see here is a restriction of 10%. The 2 other box down there is restriction of 20,000. Okay, so if you go through the particular small print, okay, of the information that I have here, all the time we will talk about that, hey, approved donation, approved donation. The approved donation is just one of the many of the donations that we are seeing here, right? Other donations for sport activity approved by the Ministry of Finance, etc., are also areas that you can actually put your money to as well. Okay, now a lot of people are interested, a lot of people are also wanted to actually find out, hey, last time the old finance minister Lim Guang Eng once said about I can even give money to my religious body, to my religious body, to my how do you call, social enterprises. Okay, and then I can also claim, right? Do you remember in the past there is one time that we were also happy that, oh, the contribution to the needy is now being widened. Okay, that part, to be very honest, ever since then, we only see a list of about 33 social enterprises that was actually being released. Yeah, so, and then ever since then, it was like stopped already. So there's no more follow-up to that particular subject matter. So on the religious house, the one that during the budget announcement, right, they wanted to actually cover like temple lah, churches lah, yeah, and etc. At that time, that was the intention. But we have not actually see a lot of items on this matter. So when there is nothing in print, we will still say that you stick to whatever that is in print lah. Yeah, we will see what does this particular budget 2023 is going to be about, and whether it will be an improvement from whatever that when it comes to the donation part. But generally, I can tell you that you still should follow through to what is the approved institution. If you wanted to know more about the social enterprises that has been approved, the 30 over, my team can actually pass it to you. Maybe we can drop this. I don't have it in the slides. Maybe my team, Ling, maybe we can drop it in the chat room. Was it a PDF file? Do we have a PDF copy, isn't it? Right, so if we have, maybe we can drop it in the chat room, just for knowledge, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just for knowledge, to actually see that the government does actually approve some, they do approve some, right? So and then you see whether is any of that is actually items that you wanted to contribute to. In our experience so far, we handle quite a few hundred of personal tax filing actually. We ourselves have not seen a version of that donation receipt lah. I have to be very, very honest with you. I have not seen. I don't know how it looks like. What are the imprint, the small imprint that they actually had to have? We have not seen. We have not seen. So we are also keen to actually find out anybody who has, and then show us how does that official receipt look like. Because if you actually donate to the approved institution, charitable organization, there is a way how the receipt looks like. The receipt must carry the sections of the act. Right, so that you can actually go and check on them, on the genuinity of it. And the Inland Revenue does actually have a list for it. Okay, now, okay, there is this interesting part that talk about gift and money for of medical equipment. Okay, medical equipment to an healthcare facility approved by the Ministry of Health. Okay, we have an interesting discussion actually last week on the same event that we have, but we conducted in Mandarin. This is the first time that we conducted the same topic twice in two different languages. So it was a question that actually brought up by one of our participants on the items on gift. Okay, this last item that I have here, gift of money, cost, value of gift of medical equipment to any healthcare facility approved by Ministry of Health. Okay, so we actually put it up in the Q&A later for us to actually understand this item and understand the trend of thought a little bit better. Okay, but beforehand, I just go through very quickly. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 categories, 4 categories of items that you can donate without the cap and limit. Okay, so meaning if you have earned 400,000, okay, you say, you know what, I'm just going to donate all my 400,000 right, to the state government. Okay, please go ahead, because and then it will be a deduction, and then it will come to a zero taxable income situation. Okay, so because give and money to government, state government or local authority actually has no cap. Okay, and give of artifacts, okay, painting to the government also has no cap. See, there is nothing written here. Yeah, keep and contribution to the public places for the disabled, public area, provisions of facility in public area, also there's no cap. Okay, gift or painting to the National Art Gallery, again, is no cap. Okay, now coming back to that medical equipment situation. We were being asked last week of this interesting question. I have purchased, this surgical scalpel, so it's like a knife or whatever. Okay, so it's actually for the taxpayers' own use. It's actually prescribed by the doctor for her to actually have these tools, right, to take care of herself. She has medical conditions. Okay, now after whatever that required to be done, she wanted to donate this scalpel to the government. Question, is she eligible for tax deduction? Actually, right, we went through this mind map thoughts with the participant. First thing is, at the point of me buying this support equipment or medical equipment, number one, can I claim under a relief that we have just went through just now? Actually, we may have, if we can justify that it is a critical disease, that this equipment or this medical condition require this to be done, right? So because they never thought about it, being this medical equipment, right? So they didn't claim. So they missed the chance of claiming one time. Okay, so now I miss it out, but this equipment, I don't need it anymore, or this scalpel, I don't need it anymore. So I wanted to donate. So can I, by producing my proof of what I bought, okay, with this, I donate to the government, and then I claim under donation. This is an interesting question, isn't it? Right? Can I now claim under donation? So I still get my claim back, like whatever that I purchased, I still get back my desire. Now, there is no black and white answer to this. If this is purely our own, should I say answer to the participants, we did not give a full-fledged answer then. We are giving everyone here. We intend to give it to her, right, on a personal note as well, to let her know that this will be our trend of thoughts. Of course, it was still subject to the Inland Revenue Board's assessment. First thing first. It is eligible, right? It is eligible to claim as donation in cash or medical equipment to approved medical facility under Section 4410, provided that ABC is fulfilled. These 3 criteria is fulfilled. Number 1, yeah, the MOF approval letter need to be there. This number 1 is already something that is very difficult to jump over. Okay, number 1. Number 2, document acknowledge the receipts of the donation from the donee. This one I believe is very straightforward. The hospital just need to give that documentation. And if it's a hospital certification from Ministry of Health, shouldn't be an issue. But however, if I'm just donating my surgical scalpel, right, it probably not a lot of money. A lot of taxpayers will not go through this hassle of approving this. During the pandemic, the government also called upon, or rather the media is telling that, you know, hey, everyone, you know, like the hospital, the medical, the center, you know, people are need the syringe, isn't it? They need some equipment. So we see people doing a lot of donation, you know, donation. So what are the documents that the hospital give is interesting. So far, I think our cases, we have not seen any, right? So we are keen to actually see how does that document is looking, and upon putting on to claim under donation to the inner revenue, whether the inner revenue is going to challenge it or not. Yeah, we hope that everybody, you need to read section 44A carefully. Section 4410 carefully. It does actually have an approach of claiming, right? So look into it, and then before you put up your claim. Okay, if you don't have the full, don't panic. Probably you want to contact the hospital and say, hey, would you be able to help me to support on the A and C? You know, just in case that my donation is being challenged by the inner revenue, yeah, by having insufficient document, right? So some of the example of medical equipment are something that can be very sophisticated, and something can be as simple as a nebulizer, right? Or even crutches and crane, right? So it can be something you know, like sophisticated to something that is actually simple. But however, the procedure will need to follow. For those of you that is actually claimed under 44.6, meaning the normal charitable organization, the inner revenue have a more comprehensive tools for you to check the genuinity of it, right? You go to the inner revenue website, you look for this particular category. It's just like a Google search, right? Then you type onto the name, you do search, then they will tell you the receipt that you have in your hand for your donation. Is it valid or not valid? Okay, all right. Okay, now next, there is another important donations. That is actually the contribution towards zakat. Okay, zakat is generally done by our Muslim taxpayers. So we have actually having question before. Hey, I'm not a Muslim, but I think I'm okay to actually you know, contribute to zakat. You know, like, can I do that so that I don't pay tax? So is contribution towards zakat a chief tax rebate applicable to all taxpayers? Question is it applied to all taxpayers? So zakat is actually here. After you calculate what is your tax, is either the money go to lembaga hasil, or the money can actually go to zakat. Okay, so the answer, ladies and gentlemen, based on the information at the zakat official website, the contribution for zakat only restricted to Muslim only, Muslim taxpayers only, unfortunate. So non-Muslim taxpayers, the money after you calculated, after you do your donation, your relief, etc., okay, it's actually have to be money banked into the Inland Revenue Board lah. Okay, so that is where the big difference is. Okay, take note of that. Tax rate, everyone would have known. Yeah, so this I would say is a revised rate starting from 2021 onwards. Okay, if you are Malaysians who have left the country for many years, and you are now back in Malaysia, and this is the first time that you report, and last year you didn't actually complete your number of days in Malaysia, even though you are Malaysian citizen, if you do not actually clock in a full you know, enough days for that purposes, you may come under 30%. Because tax, we talk about residency status. We are not talking about citizenship status. Real property gain tax, we talk about citizenship. Okay. Income tax, we talk about residentship. Okay. Number of days. Okay. In the country. Okay. Now, is tax filing important or not? Important. Important. Because it has a purpose. It can be used in various places. It can be used in various places. For facility, for example, for credit card facility, it serves as a primary document. 1 year is, I mean, it's a primary document that the bank will actually ask for. For loan purposes, it's actually asked for 2 years. It's also part of the primary documents that they are actually looking for. Anything else is actually a secondary documents to prove your income source. Yeah, so we actually have a simple bullet point here to actually highlight what are the other usage for your tax return form. Of course, document to apply for credit card, apply for a loan. This is something that we have known. And then documents to apply for visa, right? Australian government now is actually very particular over, you know, are you going to go to Australia to holiday and then you don't come back to Malaysia anymore, or you know, or otherwise. So the scrutinizing on your bank account, etc., is actually important. Or even for people who actually apply for certain talent visa overseas, or for overseas people to apply talent visas in Malaysia, right? Their income tax break is important. Are you a talent? Are you an expatriate, or are you coming in what category? Which category you actually come into? So income tax return form is actually important. And for FSI, for foreign source income proving, I can tell you income tax form is very, very important. And how do you arrive at every income source and how do you fill in the form is important. Whether you are filing your taxes in Malaysia or you are filing the taxes concurrently in other country, please be informed. Your income tax filing of any country is extremely important. When it comes to the year, either the 5 years time, yeah, those people who have income outside of Malaysia as well. And then of course it is the simplest document to prove your income status. In Malaysia, we have this thing called angel investor status, sophisticated investor status, right? So if you're a sophisticated investor, wow, you are able to invest as an angel fund, you can invest this, you can invest that, in addition to whatever the investment that we already know. So that will require to prove that you are a sophisticated investor. The proving of it is one of the primary documents is actually your income tax return form. Okay, and I believe there are other purposes for it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, personal tax filing looks simple. Okay, however, if you have actually violated, like for example, you didn't submit, or you submit late, or you pay your tax late, or you deliberately do an incorrect return, or you ignorantly, due to ignorance, you actually make mistake, due to not aware of information, so the return is incorrect, or you underestimate, you forgot that you have income to submit, but you forgot, you didn't, so it's underestimation, or you intend to evade tax, etc., etc. So there are many penalties to it. Yeah. So I will not actually go into every single penalty, but I'm just telling you how many sections it attached to one single tax return form, if not more. Okay. Yeah. So this is very much the basic. Now, do you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Malaysian context. What does other people do? What does other governments do to actually improve their tax compliance? Let's go to China. Let's go to China. This is quite recent. 2 months ago, April 21st, a publication done by this Andrew Chun. He says that, China, China. Okay, let me just move this bar of mine. China plans to fully automate taxes, puts it ahead of the global digitalization curve. Okay, China's smart tax system will cut out the need of form filing and help prevent fraud or tax evasion. Okay, our other country plan to introduce similar system, but China's robust digital financial market has actually spearheaded this particular thing. Yeah, honestly, they do quite a bit. Yeah, they are actually announcing it. So the Chinese overseas would have also known. Yeah, they are actually doing this automation. they wanted to do automatic tax collection. As part of their smart tax reform, they aim to actually complete it and launch it by 2023. The big data, the AI features, will actually use to automate the process, to ensuring the accuracy and also to cut short all the bureaucracy in between, okay? And then eliminate the possibility of tax fraud and tax evasion. AI will personalize individual taxes to maximize the benefit, okay? And if for those of you who can read Mandarin, all right, they specifically talk about face recognition. All right, so you know what they actually do? To in order to actually share their experience, they keep sharing what they are doing for tax, the Chinese right now, right? The very thing that they actually do lah. So they are actually going into really going into these face recognitions and to crawl through the social media, crawl through all areas and platforms of exposures to actually mix and match the events. And because of that, they catch a lot of artists, right? Like artists, influencers, right? Who are actually probably may have misreported their income somewhere or another. They may have attended some launching, some like luxury watch. They get payment for that. So they use all these potential events that you have attended, as compared to the income that you report and the movie that you film, the advert that you were at, that you appear as a spokesman or whatever, or the brand ambassador. And then they do analysis to see whether have you actually reported tax, all done by robot, right? So this is the tax of the future, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Right, so the smart tax system powered by big data, and then it actually aimed for data portrait of every enterprises also, the company as well, right? And individual taxpayers, okay? Is it only in China? No. Let's go to Singapore and Thailand. What Singapore and Thailand is actually doing, okay, so this article, if you look into, it's also very recent, March 2022, okay, how technology can help Southeast Asian countries improve their tax collections. Let's look into it. Beyond e-filing, now we are at e-filing era, ladies and gentlemen. We are in e-filing era, so we are going to be superseded soon. Okay, e-filing environment whereby you submit documents. Okay, now the tax authority also now explore. These are Singapore side. Okay, on new technology of big data, blockchain, biometric, and AI to improve their tax administration, provide better service. They call it better service, better service to taxpayer and monitoring compliance. Singapore, one of the most digitalized, savvy country in the region, has deployed new technology in better manage their tax system, right? So they do tax mining. Okay, what do? They study and analyze your email, your taxpayers' email for insights on your concern, on how you do, and then they study you, right? And then they will look into how to, they call it better service you in ensuring that you better compliance. These are very, very bombastic words, isn't it? Okay, what does Thailand do? Thailand try to scrap all these things, so they do their their VAT tax, your tourists, because they are a tourist-based kind of country, right? That is their biggest income. So they launched their mobile app many years ago, 2 years ago, before the pandemic, whereby your purchase, right, is actually going to crawl and crop. And then in order for you to actually do blockchain, do claim track, they track your payment, etc. And then they ensure that your calculation of the VAT refund purchase is actually done properly, right? So if they are linking all the post system, imagining if the Thai government decided to use this to at the same time link all the merchants data into their system, no one is able to be escaping a single cent of tax. It's incredible. All right, okay. Now, this is more of like what does the, how should I, so I say the IT industry is actually helping out with what the government is doing. The state augment fraud detections with AI, right? So whereby it says here, Richard Lead of IBM Worldwide Financial Crisis says the company works with states, at least America, I would say, yeah, on doing the machine learning, yeah, okay. And what do? They actually use, we can help identify which returns are the ones you should go audit based on peer group analysis. So you see, there are many things. You know, the government in China is trying to, because there's a lot of individuals who's actually earning big bucks. So they are particular about face recognition. So they crawl informations, you know, and then they actually match to actually come out. So other countries may actually do that. Okay, I benchmark you, you know, I will do different things to do my machine learning, to do my AR, to do my data learning. So different countries are looking into all this. There's a lot of things that is being written. India, 2 years ago, already start doing things. Yeah, so their tax authorities, they are actually doing this. Has been dependent on human tax assessment officer to assess which leads scope of inefficiency, tax evasion on the last year. So now they are also into data analysis. They are also doing in order to curb all this. So people, the government is actually doing away human assessment. Yeah, they're doing away with human assessments, right? So they are using how do you call data to actually ensure non-biasness in information with how do you call accuracy, right? So this list, we can even go as far as the Europe, right? What does the Denmark and the France is actually doing, which they also mentioned in last year on the little things that they actually do, whereby they are also trying to embed into their AI tools into their system. Okay, question, ladies and gentlemen, do you think Malaysia will do that? Malaysia is #1 in copy what other people do. I can tell you Malaysia will definitely do this very soon. Okay, let's come back to Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, right? This is what other people is doing. Let's come back to Malaysia. Now, when it comes to Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, if we looked into what the government is doing as we speak, now pandemic not over, we are in endemic era. Okay, we live with the disease together. We have no problem already. Okay, we are numb by the information already in many ways. We got to live our life. We need the border to be open. All border is open, the travel restriction is in. Okay, now according to these particular sections, okay, any kinds of tax evasion is illegal. Okay, and you can have all sorts of fine. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, we are all eager to get out of the country. Yeah, we are locked down in Malaysia for way too long. Before you travel, please pick up a new habit. Go to sspi@mii.gov.my SSPE and check your status. As we speak, the Sunday week, the Sunday before last Sunday, the Sunday that just passed, I have a client who's actually blocked at the immigration because of inner revenue payment, right? In the past, we have situation like that before as well. Okay, so what we do in the past is like this. Okay, client panic. I got to fly. I got a meeting to attend, right? I got to fly. So what to do? I got blocked at the immigration. So they call us. If it's weekday, don't do it on Sunday. No one can help you. Don't do it on Saturday. No one can help you. We can still dash to the inner revenue, call them, have an installment scheme came out, quickly agree. I still remember there's one time that particular case require Bukit Aman letter, some more clearance. Still run to Bukit Aman, get it rubber stamp, chop, tap. Then the person can still fly off. Okay, so the officer look at it, he can still fly off. Now, this is a real experience. 2 Sundays ago, none of that can be done because the authority of the officer at that particular station in blocking you don't have the authority to assess just like that. The only way for clearance is you got to clear yourself from the system. You got to clear yourself. So for that particular case, my client actually have to give up on the boarding pass, have the luggage. He got a boarding pass somehow. I don't know why it can go all the way. Until then, only the block actually happened. So luggage had to be offloaded and then pack up and go back home. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't fly on Friday and check on Friday night. No one can help you as well. Do this at least 7 days beforehand. Go onto website, easy work, key in your IC, okay? Key in your IC, see what's the status, okay? If you are clear, you will see this message, tiada halangan, okay? If you are not clear, you will have this message called sila rujuk ke pejabat immigration terdekat. They will give you this message. Okay, then you got to quickly follow up with the immigration, check immigration, what's happening? Who blocked me? Then they will tell you, it came from which one? Yeah, it will tell you it comes from which one. Okay, if it comes from inner revenue, dash to inner revenue, what's happening to me? If it comes from EPF, ladies and gentlemen, if you are an employer, you hutang your employee EPF or whatever, or there are short pay, EPF can also block you. Okay, if it's this one, dash to EPF. What is my issue? You got to go down to the negotiation board quickly and immediately. Okay, the approval may not be so soon. Okay, not forgetting PT-PTN is in the picture now. Okay, PT-PTN is in the picture. You are not paying your PT-PTN, they're going to block you. Okay, and these are all the ones that you need to pay attention to. Today, we talk about inner revenue. So let me talk about inner revenue. Inner revenue, it can come from 3 categories. Individual going, but 3 categories. It can come from your personal tax. Somewhere, somehow, you forgot to pay 1 year. It can come from there. It can come from your RBGT. You thought that your lawyer have done it, but actually everybody forgotten about it. It can be here. It can be because you are a major director and the shareholder of the company. You are a key director and you are a major shareholder of the company. Your company did not pay tax. Under Section 75, Capital A of the Income Tax Act, the government can actually block this to be your responsibility and block you from leaving the country also, right? So you have to actually check. Give you a minimum 7 days to get yourself checked so that you, just in case, you know whether are you cleared. Now, last thing, ladies and gentlemen, I know I said that I don't want to talk so much, but it looks like I'm actually telling too much now. I hope the information is of good news to you. I mean, it is of good information to you. Inland Revenue, less than 10 days ago, give this information. It's in the news, ladies and gentlemen, it's in the news. In case you miss it, June 14, 2022. Today is 23, right? So 9 days ago, Inland Revenue have these stats. Inland Revenue has identified 31,598, 31,598 comprises comprises individual, businesses, companies, or others who have yet to declare their income. Okay, they said that, okay, nearly 24,000 individuals were identified based on their asset ownership and their ability to secure loan and security worth 500,000 and above. So they are already do their learning already, whether it's a machine learning and extract this 31,598, we are not sure, or human learning, but they have this number ready. Okay, sorry, let me just click this one. All right, and then they are saying that they are given a grace period of 1 month, June the 15th until July the 15th, because submission deadline is July the 15th. Okay, so for them to actually come forward or to so-called report their taxes, So are you part of it? We are not sure, but ladies and gentlemen, please take this couple of days to look into your personal tax, check your kedudukan cukai. Do you have any owing? Is everything clear? Right? Check it out. Have I filed my 2012? If not, please do it immediately. Okay? Because upon having this particular date, after this day, they say they are going to move in. They are going to move in. After this grace period, they will carry out civil and criminal investigation as well as enforcement tax audit against those that who have failed. Right? So they have their target group as we speak now. The target group definitely will increase as it goes. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, this is at the Malaysian front. Less than 9 days ago, Inland Revenue has actually done their announcement. Right? So your personal tax or people around you, please make sure that they do their submission. Okay. Machine learning is here. our government are using TIN in a very, very widespread to track down property transaction, to track down stamping of documents. Okay, you see, they are actually telling you that, you know, based on how you borrow the money, you know. Okay, so they are not getting just the information that you submit to them. They are crawling data around to actually look into the accessibility of one person. All right, so documentation is extremely important. Now, very quickly, I wanted to close this. I have 2 questions that's come from the participants when they registered. So we wanted to address it immediately here. What is the cost or penalty of late personal income tax submission? See, two scenario. If the Inland Revenue have chose to prosecute you, if they prosecute you, then basically you are come under this particular category, and then the fine will be 200 to 20,000 or imprisonment or both. Generally, you can look into the 20,000 and below. If you escape the prosecution, meaning they don't prosecute you, they are just looking for a fine. Okay, then as far as the law is concerned, under 1123, they can actually go up to 3 times whatever is the tax amount that you have owed. Okay, however, there is a practicing guide that was issued in 2019 to actually say that generally they will not go up to 3 times. They will go by this kind of cut-out penalty, the penalty rate that we are looking at. Yeah, so there is actually a difference between this. So we believe they will go by the operating guide or what you are seeing here. So you can rely on this instead of whatever that is written in the act. Unless they actually see there is a willful treatment inside there, then they can go beyond here and go back to the act. Yeah, and go and collect the compound in by 3/4. Okay. The last question that I have here is, one participant was actually asked this question, that I own I own a 2-story building. First floor, I use it for my own office. Okay, and then the second floor, I rent it out. The building, yeah, is under term loan. How do I apportion the interest? Yeah, this is the important question. How do I apportion the interest? Actually, Inland Revenue do not provide any explanation on how to do the apportionment. However, based on our own tax audit, because we do actually have tax audit cases every now and then, and some of our past experience, yeah, so our client tax audit outcome, the Inland Revenue require us to do the apportionment based on market value of the rental. And this is the formula that they actually use. I can safely say that this, we have gone through a tax audit before. You can basically copy this particular formula. So whatever is your interest, your rental for your rented unit, and what is the market value of your unrented floor plus the one with the tenancy, add together, becoming your denominator, and then you do your apportionment. Yeah, okay. Last slide, ladies and gentlemen. You do need to remember that, yeah, paying taxes is about your income yesterday. You have your tax paid now in order for you to have that document to borrow, to expand your wealth in the future. Yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, for your attention. If you have any questions, you can also contact us after our session today. Or you can drop in the chat room, and then we will be able to actually answer you now, so that the rest of the other participants here will be able to benefit from the Q&A sessions that we have as well, right? So do scan the QR code here and keep the number. Even if you have any question, by all means, drop us a message, and then we are more than happy to tackle on those questions together with you.